I truly have not been this much at a loss of words. I don't know. Honestly, like, we're all going to figure this out together, okay? I don't know how I feel. Because I looked at Maggie like an hour after, and I was like, I don't know if I liked it. And, like, my first thought was like, it kind of reminded me of Superman Returns, okay? Where it's like, it said it was going to be one thing, and then it was, but it was just not how I thought the one thing was going to be, right? And so, like, they said this is going to be the final chapter of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy from James Gunn. And it was. It's just not how I thought it would be. And, like, here's the other thing. I'm, like, alone in this. Because it's, like, a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. And that's the audience score. The critic score is, like, 80-something. Still very positive. So, like, everybody agrees this movie is fantastic. And I'm like, it's like, I don't know if it's like a Lord of the Rings situation, or like, it's just not my movie. But like, I can see it's well made. I concede that it's well made. I'm just not certain if what was made was what I was wanting to see. Hey.
Much love, Eric.
See you later, Eric. Thanks for stopping by. I went full screen myself. Sorry. We'll see you
about Matt,
next time.
You know.
It's true. Maggie, how did you feel about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I felt like, I know this is a weird way of saying it, like, I felt misplaced.
Like you felt misplaced?
Yeah. Like, you know, watching the first Guardians over and over again when it came, like, out on cable and stuff. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out. And, like, those are both very funny movies. Like, they have a good storyline and stuff. But then, come to this one, it's sad. And
again, no spoilers. We're spoiler free.
Yeah. Sad. It's just a different tone. Still has some of the funny stuff in it, but it's just not what I was expecting.
Yeah. It almost feels like... Here's the thing. It almost feels like James Gunn was unaware of what was going to happen in Infinity War and Endgame, and was thrust into this film without really having the knowledge of it. Right? But that's not the case. I mean, he had the script wrote like 4 years ago. And he consulted.
He was on set.
Yeah, he consulted for both of them. Like, he knew, everybody knew what was going on. It's all, like, to me, it almost feels like how Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision are, like, really far away from each other. Like, there's not really that cohesion. Mm-mm. And to me, this feels like that, but with... not just with Endgame, but with Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Like, it feels just, to me, I'm not downing it, but like, it just feels so detached. Mm-hmm. And like, when they say like, this is the greatest ending of a trilogy, I don't see that at all. Cause the story of the first and second one, like, lend itself to a place, right? Even if you remove all the other universe stuff, that's fine. Like, it doesn't have to tie into Thor. I'm not worried about that. Mm-mm. But, like, for it to just... if you watch just 1, 2, and 3, regardless of the continuity errors, it doesn't feel like one solid story. Like, it doesn't feel like this really ends it. This feels like a sequel from many years later that they decided to do, you know? This feels like Rocky Balboa. You know? Like, it doesn't feel like Rocky 3.
No.
You know, even though I've not actually seen either of those. But I think you get what I'm saying. So, like...
how dare
listen,
you
well, we can get into that later. We can get into that later. Sylvester Stallone is in this movie. There's your tie-on.
How dare you.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. It just felt I don't know. This movie, again, I'm trying to stay very, 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 very spoiler free. So to me, this movie didn't so much feel as like an end point for the Guardians that we've come to know. It felt more like a breakup film. Like, it felt like how I did that on you.
Oh, well, I said that earlier.
What, like a breakup film? I don't think you did.
I thought I did.
No, you said something else.
Farewell film?
Maybe.
Goodbye?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what you said, honestly. I don't think you said breakup. Anyway, it felt like a breakup film. All right, it felt like this was like if Taylor Swift writes a breakup song, this is a breakup film. And like, if the way I read it almost feels like maybe James Gunn was being meta and made the film represent what he's trying to say about prolonged relationships. And if that's the case, then I mean, hats off. Like if the point was to prove that things shouldn't outstay their welcome, then he definitely made this movie feel like maybe that was the case. Mm-hmm. And I'll get more into that in the spoilers to really figure out what I'm trying to say. But I think another piece of it is the plot. Like,
it was a lot.
But it was also nothing.
It was a lot and nothing at the same time.
Like, again, spoiler free. Still spoiler free.
I know.
I'm letting everybody know. Because it's going to sound like I'm going into spoilers. I'm not. First Guardians is about, Ronan. He's going to conquer the galaxy. Right? And they stop that. And there's an Infinity Stone. Second Guardians, they got to stop Ego from destroying the entire universe. Right?
And Star-Lord figures out who his dad is.
Yeah. This one, the stakes are the lowest possible stakes that I can think of. Like, I cannot think of another stake lower than this, with still any kind of, with it still being able to be called something at stake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it just like, and it starts right into that, and that causes like some sidelining of things, which just felt like I understand what they were doing, I understand what they did while and all that stuff. I get all that. It just, I don't know. I don't know. It's very depressing. Like, I mean, I think, considering how the movie begins, like we began the first movie with "Come and Get Your Love," right? Right? Was it "Come and Get Your Love"? And then the second movie begins with Mr. Brightside, or no, Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Dude, if it's Mr. Brightside, that'd be amazing. Oh my god, even better.
How many emo millennials would jump up and start screaming?
But the song that they begin this movie off with, I'm not going to say it because I feel like it's a spoiler. It's like, so this is, I mean, that is the most representative of the tonal shift in this. And I feel like that is what makes it feel so disconnected. Like, it doesn't even feel like the heart and soul that was with like the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't even have that, like it just, I don't know if James Gunn was like pissed off at Marvel because of everything that happened, and that's fair, if he was, I don't know if he was wanting to make a different movie and just decided to make this using the thoughts he had for other movies. I don't know if he just wanted to kind of break the mold, like he'd done 2 Marvel movies for Marvel. And so this was his movie for him. And like, I don't know if that's why it was so vastly different. And I mean, even just stylistically, it was like the grotesqueness was like amped up to like 11,
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, we were able to convey in Guardians 1 and 2, that Rocket, was, a subject of, being like, what's it called?
Animal testing.
Being tested on and stuff. And so like, we were able to do that without having to be like gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I know that it definitely sells the story that they're trying to say about that in this movie. But it just felt like maybe it was just a hair too far. Because it wasn't even like it's heartbreaking, but it's also just hard to watch. And like at a certain point, like what, like why are we doing that in this movie? You know, I'm all for, just to be clear, and this will be so much easier to talk about when we're in spoilers. I'm all for like protecting animals, and animal cruelty is just pieces of shit, right? Like if you hurt a dog, honestly, jail for life, if not just immediate death. Okay, like I'm sorry, two things you don't mess with: kids and dogs. Like, or I mean, even all animals. I mean, honestly, and so I'm all for that. But just it felt like I couldn't really tell like if it almost felt like I was being preached to, you know. And like I'm with you, buddy. Like I'm with you. We're in the choir. You know, you ain't got to preach to us. Like we're here. Well, I completely agree. So like I don't know why you're trying to like bust us in the side of the head with this message that we're all already in agreement on. You know. And like that also doesn't really feel like the point of a Guardians of the Galaxy movie or a Marvel movie in general. I mean, you know me, I'm all for putting a message in movies.
Yeah.
Like that is what takes movies to the next level, I feel like. But there's a difference between like, you know, a piece of art truly connecting with you and changing. Jojo Rabbit is a great example, you know, and like just cramming a message down your freaking throat, you know, like environmentalism in Beast Machines. You know, it's like it's just too on the nose, you know.
Or Captain Planet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
definitely shoving it down your throat.
So, in some ways, I'm getting way too strong on this.
Planet.
In some ways, it almost felt like the Passion of the Christ for Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, like where Passion of the Christ, they're like, we're just gonna beat the shit out of this dude for 2 hours, and we're gonna make you feel like shit because fuck you, right? And like that's the Passion of the Christ, right? And then this is kind of like not the exact same, obviously. It's like some of that, but then also a lot of boring stuff. Anyway, but that being said,
Okay.
the opposite side of that, okay, is it was definitely the story he wanted to tell, and he told it, and I feel that he told it exactly how he wanted to tell it, and it did what I assume he was wanting it to do, and so I mean I can't fault him for making a bad movie because it's not a bad movie and it wasn't poorly made. It just was the story, like this, just the story wasn't really the story I was looking for. You know, and I again, I know I'm going to be the detractor and all this. Like most everybody's just super high on it. But it's just, I don't know, when you think about like the swan song, like this is a swan song of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And even if we get them back in, you know, Secret Wars or whatever, it's never going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
And this just, to me, didn't feel like it really was that. You know, this wasn't the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road for the Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, this was the, I feel like we're still here. I guess we got to deactivate our Facebook of Guardians of the Galaxy, you know? But it has also stuck with me. Like, I have not stopped thinking about this movie. And I was trying to dissect it, and I'll talk more about this in spoilers, of like, what is it about this that's not connecting with me? What is it about this that I'm disliking? What is it about this that I, you know, like, what is he trying to say, right? Because I feel so just in this void for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that I don't even really know why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. And so I spent the weekend really trying to just think through, like, why do I feel like this? And I think I've come up with it. But in order to tell that, I'll have to get into spoilers.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to let you take over for a little bit.
I'm not sure what to say. Because you said a lot.
I did. I did.
I agree with you. Like you said, it's like a breakup movie. Just busting up the gang and, be like, I'm going to be off my socials for a bit.
Yeah. I don't really want to look at these pictures.
I don't know.
So
I don't know if I'll be back.
Yeah.
But I'll be gone. And something like a lot, I like a few things in it. Like I think it's just funny bits, and, then there's some things I'm just like, why did he go this way? Which I have a funny feeling I know what it is, but that'll be in spoilers. I mean, I talked it over with somebody that cuts my hair. She saw it, but she couldn't see it because she was taking care of a 1 and 2 year old.
Yeah.
She gets to watch it again on Tuesday. But there's so many things, like we said earlier. There's to me, there's too much going on, but then yet there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I remember, that post-credit scene in Guardians 2, and we see Adam Warlock.
There's 5 post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them setting up something.
And, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be cool. I don't have no idea who he is, but,
Right.
He's gold, and they're making him. This is so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, well, I don't want to spoil it, but,
the choices they made for Adam
the
Warlock.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a way, I understand it, and in a way, I liked it, but then in a way, I didn't like it.
Yeah. It's almost like if this movie was its own movie, I would feel less negative towards it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
If this was just an original cast of characters and they did this, and or even if this same movie came out 20 years from now.
Yeah.
And they're still doing these, and we go back and revisit these characters 20 years later or something, right? Even that would almost make it more sense. Mm-hmm. But right now it just doesn't fit, I just feel like we haven't done enough work for it to make sense. Sorry, I started talking.
It's okay. I think we need to get into spoilers.
Get into spoilers?
Because I'm afraid I'm going to let some slip.
So from here, we're getting ready to get into spoilers, everybody. If you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I would still recommend go watch it, especially if you're a fan. If you're a fan, you should definitely watch it, and you should not listen to our spoiler conversation. I think you should honestly just go with an open mind and see how you feel about it. And, I mean, odds are you'll love it, because 95% of people do. So, definitely check it out if you're any kind of Marvel fan. It's still a Marvel movie. I was going to say a great Marvel movie, but it's still definitely worth going to see. And there are some great pieces of it that I think just for me as a whole, they just didn't hit that Guardians level, right?